Hey guys, I wanted to come on here today and start a new series where on my page where I'm discussing some of the channeled visual information that I've been receiving over these past 6 to 8 months. Um, I've always been a channel, or what I would call an integrated channel. And most of the things that I would receive have been through my higher self, who goes by Rhea, and the angelic realm. It's mostly creative through poetry. And I've always had claircognizant abilities. But as I began to meditate more in earnest, I began receiving these detailed visions that came with channeled information. And it's been going on, I'd say, like very intensely since around the time that the pandemic really started to ramp up. So I did a video. And I want to say it was back in March where I began showing some of the visual images that I was receiving. And that video was entitled, What is a Dimension and Why is This Happening? Where I showed some images of vibrational dissonance and, tried to explain what our unique energetic signatures looked like. And around that time, I began getting these images of energy and what that energy looked like and how it emanated from us and how it was actually corded and tethered to the planets and what that meant in regards to astrology and tarot and what were the implications in manifestation and creating our own reality. And I have absolutely no background whatsoever in science or physics or quantum physics. I always did very poorly at math. I mean, I'm great with handling like accounting type things when it comes to mathematics, but anything beyond that was just never really my jam. I will say that I'm a very investigative person. I'm a Scorpio sun, a Capricorn moon, and a Pisces rising. And so I always had an interest in things that other people may find boring, as far as like contracts and legal jargon and just investigating mysteries. And, but given my Pisces, I always was very intuitive and empathic and creative. And so I always felt like I've had the best of all of those worlds with just my little energetic astrological stamp, because, with all the Scorpio, it's, very deep and intense and drive, and especially with the Capricorn too. But anyways, so I started getting these visions, and I understood from like a claircognizant standpoint what they meant. I got that. But then my guides were like directing me to different types of material and telling me what I should be researching, and that I should be looking into quantum physics. And I was directed, I had mentioned in my last vlog post, to the raw materials. And as a channel, you always kind of doubt yourself. You always kind of doubt the validity of the things that you're channeling when it comes to these technical things. At least I did, because everything, I channeled prior to that were just really intuitive messages, like tapping into the collective consciousness and the pulse point of what the energies were like and where we were headed, and poetry and things that really were very natural for me, nothing technical in the way that I'm going to be talking today. So I do want to preface that I do want to preface that by uh, saying that I have absolutely no technical knowledge of any of these things. This is information that's come through me. I understand it as it's been delivered to me. I also understand from the very little that I've gone subsequently to search, mostly just for the images on how to correctly sketch and draw, that it does actually have correlation to scientific ways of looking at things. And um, I'm also not the first person to make these correlations with toroidal fields and the human body, from what I've been able to glean. However, um, I don't claim to be an expert by any means. This is just what I understand from what I've been given, and it continues to unfold. The information that the visions I was initially given have a basis in what I understand now, scientifically, the way it would look. But they've continued to evolve, and I'm assuming that they will continue to evolve as I'm given more, kind of bit by bit, through these meditations. And I will say that it's really amped up since I began actively working on clearing my chakras up and stilling my mind and getting to a 0 point more often in my day, and also through the request of contacting intelligent infinity and making a deep commitment to service to others. And once I came into contact with the raw materials and really began actively seeking to make contact, things began to kind of just uh, explode for me. And sometimes it takes me a while to assimilate all the information that I'm given into anything that really feels coherent. And it felt like today I've gotten to a certain place with it, and that it may be beneficial to some people. So I wanted to share it. The other day, and I'm going to show you all of this. I actually put out a written post about, are you using social media, or is social media using you? And in that post, I included a sketch. And after I did that sketch, I received information like, if you're going to put out these images, like, they need to be technically correct, and we're going to technically show you what it looks like. And I was taken to a black hole, and I was shown what that looked like, and then I was shown how that actually is the same shape in the human body. And that's what our energy fields actually look like. This image that's been up here is an actual image of you and what you look like. And it's pretty exciting. I've been trying to sketch this out to the best of my ability over the last few days. And so it's really kind of where I wanted to start with this. And um, I guess I don't know exactly where to start. So, yeah, I think we all understand that we are energy, and we are creating our own realities, and we are creator beings who are manifesting. But what we are not always clear on is how to manifest the things that we desire, and why are things manifesting that we don't desire, especially if, like me, you're really focused on your thoughts. And and stilling the mind, and you have a wonderful, mental diet, and you're really focused on your dominant vibration and what you're putting out, and maybe you're setting intentions, and you're visualizing, or you're doing slides, or all the different ways which we create our realities, or we try to consciously create our realities. What is it that for me, it was like, what is it that causes these unwanted things to crop up? They must be subconscious. They must be below the surface. So then I set about, how do I change my subconscious beliefs? How do I untether from these things that really aren't serving me any longer? Because as we move from third to fourth and then to fifth density consciousness, especially going from third to fourth, it's no longer necessary for us to learn these lessons through the lower vibrational emotions, like pain and suffering and anger. We can consciously choose to learn lessons from a higher vibrational state. So that was really kind of, for me, the goal in trying to understand, okay, how does this all work? And how does it work in correlation with all of the other things that feel important to me and that I'm, interested in, like astrology and tarot, and, have a passion about? They must all come together in some unified way. And this is kind of the result of that. I've been focused heavily on reality creation and meditation and stilling my mind, and, really getting to a place of peace. And my manifestations lately have been more so about just releasing and letting go, and feeling at ease and in the flow state, and just feeling more present to the now moment. And that's exactly where I found myself with these visions and these images, is that all of our power really comes from the now. It comes from stillness. It comes from 0 point. It comes from the void. That is the heart of it all. And it's actually through our heart that we get to the gateway to infinity. It's through our heart that we get to the center of the universe, to source. It is in that place of stillness and void. And that's what I was shown. So if you can see in the image, there is a arrow pointing to 0 point, and it's pointing directly to the heart of the human. And I'm trying to represent here, obviously, these things are not to scale, and they are not mathematically perfect. So just kind of bear with me, but I did the best I could. It's just my kind of creative take on it, and trying to get down everything that I was shown. So even the words, but you can see the arrow pointing to 0 point. And then if you look at the very top, there is the other 0 point, which would be the black hole of our galaxy. And I can't remember, I think it's called Sagittarius A, or but there's many different things going on here. I'm just going to start with the 0 point. So this human being, all human beings, actually mirror the electromagnetic field of the planet. We actually mirror the galaxy. we are an exact replica of it all. So it's not really outer space, it's inner space. It's all within us. And we are creating it all from this 0 point. And through it is where everything converges. Even our chakra systems, and I only demonstrated the main chakras that everyone, discusses, but there are so many other points and energy centers and meridians that also contribute to these tethers. I just didn't want to make this any more complicated than it was. So from that 0 point, is our heart. That is where everything converges. And in this diagram, I'm showing planetary tethers, but that this also rings true from anyone you're accorded to, as far as other human beings on the planet. And we are tethered to everyone within our reality until we can cut those tethers or cords away. So the funneling that's starting at this person's feet and moving up, and then back up again from the 0 point past the top of the head. These are our chakra systems. These are actually what they look like around our bodies. They're emanating and they're swirling in a funnel shape. And they are creating our reality. Now, obviously, if those chakra systems are blocked or they're not functioning properly, they're not going to emanate out as far, or you're going to have a disproportionate amount of one ray or color to another one. And it's only through balancing these energy centers and getting them to swirl around us an equal measure that we can get through this 0 point and to the gateway to infinity. But yeah, so it is represented here in these, this funneling action. And then you see in and out through the heart. And I understood the out. I mean, I understood that our hearts were what was driving our realities and what was creating it for us. But I wasn't really sure about the in portion of it until I came across the information about the plate and how it was kind of like an arm, this like phantom limb in between our shoulder blades. And when I was drawing this, I was drawing it at this angle, and I really couldn't understand why I was drawing it at the angle that I was drawing. I just knew that that's what was being shown to me. But all of this energy is going in through the back of our heart and then out through the front of our heart. And it is creating yet another toroidal field. So yet, another mirror image within the mirror image. And these, this is really the most important part of the creation of our reality is through the heart, because it is through that everything in our reality is being created. And we can actually, so if you've studied the plate at all, we can actually place things inside and have them project out for us. Desires and states of reality, or, timelines that we would like to be on. I mean, all of this is happening naturally, whether you are aware that you're manifesting or not. It's happening without our knowing. And it was happening before you awaken to the process, because we are creators and we are just a microcosm of the macrocosm. And this shows here in the energy. So you can see then from that how it goes out and out, and there's these circles, and these are actually our planetary tethers. So, this is important because even if you don't follow astrology at all, or even if you're saying, I don't really believe in astrology anymore, I've let that go in my belief system, it is, from what I've been shown, it is creating your reality to a certain extent until you have cleared up the things that you need to clear up. And then obviously this exact image of this person is going to be replicated out for the planet Earth and the collective consciousness. So we have our individual tethers to the planetary system, and then there's collective tethers to the planetary systems. And each planet represents certain aspects of our reality creation, and there is the highest vibration of that planet and what it's offering at any given time, and then there's a spectrum in between all the way down to the lowest of what that planetary system has to offer to us at any given time. So it really does behoove us to just kind of have a general knowing of, okay, here's how the planets are behaving. Here's the highest that they have to, the energy they have to offer us, and I'm tethered into it. And this is kind of the spectrum in between, and I have free will. So I'm going to make a choice to tether into the highest aspects of what it has to offer us. It also gives us some insight as to why certain things may be manifesting into our reality that we're not consciously focused on, because the way it's been explained to me is that we are tethered into that, like this infinite loop. And until we look at these tethers and we release them and we forgive them, or we choose not to engage with them, and if you want to look at that as a pain body or a pendulum, they will continue to manifest in our reality. They will be like a neural pathway in our reality, and they will be used in our bridge of incidents because they're corded to us. And the most important part that was shown to me is that the moon and the moon cycles actually represent our subconscious mind, and they represent our past. So you can see this person on the planet, and they're standing on now. Now, if you take a step into the past, you're stepping into the moon energy. And so the moon cycles are going to give us clues as to where we are still corded to the past in our subconscious minds, which is that is amazing, because when it's showing up for us, we can then be the observer and look at that and say, okay, this is showing up for me. This is where I have now stepped out of that 0 point. This is where I've stepped backwards into the past. This is where I'm still corded into the moon's lower vibrational energy. And, I was shown that it's kind of stored there in the planets, their electromagnetic field. So it just apply the same image to the planets. And when you're tethered into that, you can be tethered in to the highest aspect of that toroidal field, or the lowest aspect, or anywhere in between. And the great part is you can consciously make a choice to untether, to uncord from that. And the way that you do that is by releasing that, by with the moon aspect, like looking at that shadow and deciding that you no longer want to have your tether corded into that energy. And so then the other big important aspect of this is the sun's energy. And I was shown that is our conscious mind. That is our future. That is where we are looking with our third eye into probable outcomes. That is where our true manifestation, the highest and best manifestation abilities come from, when we use our third eye to look towards the future. We use our conscious mind to create those imaginal acts, then we funnel that down into the 0 point and we project it in through the back and out through the heart towards the sun. And this is also where, I got this understanding of why dropping the importance of it is so profound. It's because, there's nothing wrong with having these desires and looking, through the quantum field and the timelines and where we want to be and what we want our life. It's how we are the architects. That's how we're constructing things, right? But at the end of the day, none of that can happen until we're standing firmly in our power, in the 0 point, which is the now. So, we're tethered to the sun through our conscious mind. That's our conscious thoughts. That's, where we ultimately would love to reduce our courting to the moon on the aspects of it, on the past. We can use tools of revision, and I'm going to link, everything that has been coming into my consciousness in the description box, where I found all of this information. And I do want to preface that I found the information after I channeled it, which was like a big validation to me. And again, I'm not an expert by any means. This is just, what has been coming through me and what I'm, feeling really excited about right now, because it's, kind of this like greater understanding. And I think it just takes this, the mystery out of like the why behind, the way things are unfolding for us, and gives us a little bit more power as to how we want to, step forward into all of our now moments. And, obviously, you can't do that without having some kind of, conscious practice on stilling the mind. And I'm going to be like everybody else and advocate meditation for that. But I'm going to tell you that meditation comes in so many different forms as well. So I'm not going to tell you, oh, you've got to meditate like this, cross-legged and, chanting. I've tried so many different ways of meditating, and I really have found like what works for me, and I've got different things that I do now, and I have like phases where I'll do one thing and then another thing, but yeah. So the sun is, like our big, bright, forward-looking, positive, futuristic tether. Okay, and then bringing that down. And I'm going to show you afterwards, like the images on what this looks like on a grander scale. But the why that's tilted the way that it is, it has to do with, actually the way we're situated on planet Earth. And the Earth is tilted this way as well, that our geographical North Pole and South Pole are not the same as our magnetic North and South Pole. And so that's why it looks like it does on a tilt. But hopefully it'll help you visualize your own energy. I said to my guys, like, I want to see this. I want to see, like, with my eyes open, what this looks like in myself. And like, I want to look in the mirror and see this, or I want to look at my body and see this energy field. Like, why can't I just see it visually? And, they said to me, well, people are seeing, that's what you see when you're seeing someone's aura, is you're seeing the emanation of this in other people. But they also, and they showed this to me last night in meditation. It's like, it's not just seeing it, like you can feel it. If you get still, you can feel this energy and the way that it pumps up your feet and out your head and through your heart, and you can feel it swirling. And there's a sound to it as well, like a harmonic sound to it. And it's like this big vroom, 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 like heartbeat. And so like I said, I'm just like scratching the surface with my own journey on what this means to me. So the other thing that they showed me is, if you look at this like egg-like shape, this cosmic egg-like shape, our sovereign field, like that is actually created by this pillar of light. So if you can imagine that pillar of light, it says pillar of light, and it's going, up, and it's going out, and but it's also going from the top down, and it's creating this other toroidal field, and that is the gateway. That is going to the black hole in the center of our universe. And from there are more universes and galaxies, and it just keeps going. I was shown this as well. Like, we are really just a speck of dust in the grand scheme of all of it. But that is the gateway to higher dimensions and accessing higher dimensional beings and other social memory complexes. And that is really like our personal gateway. And we are always being taken care of. Like, we always have access to that. And it's coming up and out, and it's coming down and down through the planet in this giant toroidal field, this pillar of light. And so you can visualize that, and it creates this sovereign field around us, this egg, this protection, this cocoon that we're in. And so when we talk about like the white light and surrounded in the white light, and the white light of the Holy Spirit, and going through into the white light, that's what it is. It is this almond shaped egg. And if you look out from there, I talked about in one of my other that video several months ago about a Venn diagram, and that Venn diagram is also an exact replica of the Vesica Pisces. And if you can see that almond shape in the middle, and the 0 point being the heart, that is the union of yourself. That is where everything converges. So it's all swirling around you at all times. It's going in all different directions. And guess what? That is also the merkabah. So I've drawn that on there as well. So that is, when we're talking about the vehicle that will take us anywhere we want to go, it is just a representation of what's already there surrounding us in our energy fields. And the way that it's swirling and clockwise and counterclockwise, that is already happening naturally. So it's just a way for us to visualize and activate our chariot. And we have that. We're naturally creating it. It's just being able to visualize it and get it spinning at the proper sequence of the Fibonacci spiral. Again, if you look at this funneling action from the feet to the heart, and then from the heart and upwards, that is a replication of the Fibonacci spiral. So there is so much sacred geometry in this as well. And again, I knew absolutely nothing about sacred geometry. I was just shown these images, and then I was shown the images of the sacred geometry. And then I looked at it and I was like, wow, it's all there. It really is all there. And it all starts with our hearts. So, we need to take good care of those too. But yeah, so you can see the merkabah, and it really, hopefully, if you can visualize these energy centers and just ask, to see them and to feel them, and it will definitely, begin to happen through your meditation as well. But yeah, so I will show you some of these images now that I was directed to after I made this illustration here. Okay, so this image was actually one of the first images that I was given back in March, and this is like a top-down view. If you were, out in the ether, and you're looking down at our solar system, and you can see that we are located in the center of the earth. And what this just shows is a different aspect of the way that these tethers look in the toroidal field. They are just like a giant continuous loop, energy cannot be destroyed. And those tethers again are on a like a spectrum, and we can tap into the highest aspect, or we can tap into the lowest aspect. But this is just a different vantage point of what those tethers look like in our planetary system, and why it's important to have at least like a general understanding of how the planets are behaving, and how they're behaving on a grand scale would mean what the tethers look like for the collective consciousness, and then how they're behaving for our own personal astrological chart would dictate what those personal tethers look like for us. And that's why it's important to be aware of your chart, and then also be aware of like on a grander scale, where the planets are positioned, and what planets are impacting our consciousness more prevalently at any given moment, because as they move closer to us, that will dictate the strength of the cord or the tether. And remember, this same thing applies with the toroidal field to the earth. So we have our energetic field, which I've shown you, and then that exact same mirror image emanates out even further when it comes to the collective consciousness. So when I'm talking about tapping into thought forms or paradigms or pendulums, what we're doing in those now moments is we are taking those tethers and we're extending them out into the thought form of religion or society or, social media, or whatever paradigm exists within the earth's toroidal field, within the earth's tether, the earth's collective consciousness. This is also where tarot and divination comes into play. So the way they've explained it to me, and if you know anything about tarot, the moon is what's hidden and what's subconscious, and the sun is our conscious thoughts. And in astrology, our sun sign is the way that we project ourselves consciously out into the world. And our moon sign is, what's within. And so this all correlates together with our energy fields, with our tethers, with astrology, with tarot. And so what we're doing when we are reading tarot is we are tapping in, we're taking a snapshot of that moment in time, and it tells us this is where we are corded. These are the planets that we are corded to right now. This is where we're corded to subconscious belief systems through the moon. This is where we're corded into our future on this timeline. But the wonderful thing is with tarot is that we have free will. And so it's just another tool that can give us a screenshot, if you will. That is exactly what it is. It's like a screenshot of where we are standing on that grid. Are we standing firmly in the now, looking towards the future? Have one foot back in the past? Are both feet in the past? Are we reliving the past in these infinite loops? So tarot that's all it is. It's like a screenshot of the now moment. But the thing is that the way in which we can best utilize it as a tool is to understand, okay, this is where I'm standing right now. This is where I'm corded and tethered, and I have free will. So I can choose to uncord here. I can choose to look at this shadow aspect. I can, create something as the architect that's completely different into my future and project that out in through the plate and out through the heart chakra. The other thing they wanted to me to really convey is to be careful who you're listening to when it comes to tarot and energy reports. Because if they're telling you this is your future and you are making that agreement, when you make the agreement that, yes, this is my future, you've now corded in to that projection of that toroidal field of that timeline. And so it's not to say, oh, oh, be careful or you should be afraid. No, it's just saying use your discernment when you're utilizing tarot. Obviously, the best use of it would be to use it yourself, but we can't always do that, so we do look to other more adept people, but just make sure that number one, you're not tapping into like 1,000 different readings into 1,000 different outcomes and then making agreements with those, because that's just going to really put a lot of resistance into your energy field. You want to pick a timeline and you want to stay on that course, or you're going to have all these other tethers coming into it until it is no longer serving you. And then you can make another choice and another choice. And there's a couple really good tarot readers that I would recommend, that I know personally, but not if they're not giving you the information from the standpoint of this is your free will. And you have the choice to, choose a different outcome, then it's not the right person for you. And it would behoove you to make another choice. But yeah, so that's what's so exciting about tarot from these tethers and these cords as well. Okay, so this next image is actually an image I found of the Earth's magnetic field, and you can see that it is an exact replica of what our energetic field looks like. This is the toroidal field. There's a pillar of light coming through. You can see the spirals and the inward and outward. It's all there. And so when we think about the collective consciousness, we can think about it as this vast toroidal field with the exact same tethers into all of the planetary systems and with the same loops. And those are going to have all of every single human being on the planet. It is the Earth's atmosphere, and the Earth herself, from what has been explained to me, is a fifth dimensional planet. She is a fifth dimensional planet, and her atmosphere, it is holding a third to now a fourth density. We're moving into a fourth density atmosphere. And so those thought forms and those tethers are now moving to the fourth density. And all that means and I did this video, like I said, that you can find here in this file folder. All that means is that we are moving our beliefs and the way we view reality, our perspective on reality is changing from a third dimensional point of view to a fourth dimensional point of view. And so we are in flux right now, and those tethers are kind of getting an upgrade. And the great thing about that is that means what we're tapping into can get an upgrade as well. And so we are raising our dominant resonant frequency on a personal level with our personal tethers and cords and energetic fields. And the Earth is also upgrading the tethers and can tap in, it is now tapping into the higher aspects of these planetary systems. And again, remember, each planet is also holding its own field and has its own tethers and its own social memory complexes. And they may be, fifth dimensional or sixth dimensional, but because we are corded into them, we have the ability to tap into the highest aspect of what that planet is holding. And we can tap into the social memory complexes of those planets as well. And we can tap into the social memory complex of the planet itself. Because the planet itself is a being, it's a logos, it's holding its own frequency and tethers. So yeah, it's just really exciting. So that is what the Earth's magnetic field looks like. And then I found this image, and again, in the top left, you can see the Earth's toroidal field, and then you can see what it looks like, from a galaxy. And then, they're showing you the tree of life and how we see these same this playing out over and over, and even our fruit and us as human beings. So this is just, it's replicating over and over and over again. And even on a cellular level, this is what it looks like. So knowing this really gives us some insight into how we work and how reality works, and how we can construct that to the highest and best on our missions. And then from there, everywhere I looked, I was finding evidence that there actually is a correlation between this information that, came through me and what things look like scientifically as well. And there's the tilt there on why we, the heart chakra is tilted in the manner that it is. So I hope that gives everyone a large overview of tethers and our energetic bodies and the way that they operate. And my hopes in sharing this, were that, it might aid you like it has for me, in just, understanding energy, understanding why it's important to be in that 0 point energy, how we can really be the architects of our reality and be on the life path that we desire to be, and really just a general overview on the correlation between how everything works together, because it does all work together, and it's all in concert in this big giant symphony with one another. And that's so exciting on so many levels. And I really hope to isolate various different aspects of this and do more videos on the information. And of course, I'm going to continue to share it as it's shared with me and given to me as it comes through me, and in the hopes that it can really resonate with someone out there, and you'll be able to take that information and use it to construct the highest and best in your reality, and really just release yourself from the tethers that are no longer serving you. That's my goal is to really step into the next perspective, into fourth and fifth dimensional ways of being. It really is no longer necessary to learn these lessons through pain and suffering and lower vibrational experiences. We really can move more into unity consciousness and tap into the higher aspects, because we're creator beings, and we get to create anything that we like to create. So why not create something amazing and fantastic? And of course that, no one is going to have experience where it's completely void of, hardship. But, that's all a matter of perspective anyway. And as you, begin to move up the emotional scale, that becomes more and more clear, that it really is just a matter of the lens in which we view it through. So I hope that helps somebody out there. I'm really excited to share this. I put a lot of time into making the video in the hopes that that I properly conveyed everything that was shown to me. And obviously that's really hard to do in the format, this platform, especially when you're, getting these immense visions and you're trying to figure out, like how best to like translate that onto a piece of paper. So I hope it's, given you just like a little bit of insight that you can use in your meditations, to help you visualize and create, and understand. And like I said, ask your team and spirit, ask your guides, to show this to you, to, help you feel it, to help you see it in your own daily life. And you'll see very clearly what energies are probably, themes in your life, given your blueprint, given your snapshot, and given where you're holding your dominant resonant frequency. And, once you have that, once you're armed with that information and you're not just, moving about not understanding why things are happening the way they're happening, then you can set about releasing it, forgiving it, tapping into a higher version of it, uncording from it completely, like if it's, a shadow aspect from moon energies or past life, or it just gives you greater clarity in reality in general. So I hope that helps. And love, light, and blessings to all of you beautiful beings of light. And if this resonates in some way, and if you're excited to see more of it in the future, please subscribe. I'd love to know that it's reaching people out there and shifting through the algorithms and all that jazz. And definitely comment and let me know what you thought about this information. I'd love to hear from you about it too. So love, light, and blessings to all of you. You all are amazing, and I'm sending you so much love, so much love. Bye.